has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible, hanging out the bad seed, the broken, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City, the Big Apple. Ooh. People dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion shade-up, along with the Tutty and Tater King himself. The founder of the Aisle Seat podcast, the rights holder of the Sheet of Integrity, to put it with a golf guru, Carver High this afternoon, ladies. Mafia's running it with Luke. I am your father. The rundown on a thirsty Thursday, a double shot with Morency from British Columbia this very hour. In the second hour, the mayor of Miami, Joe Ranieri. Are you kidding me? And then in the coup de grace, the final hour, a double shot with Busta capping your ass. Adam Kaplan, our NFL insider. Plenty of Brian Daboll today around the majors. I'm watching a 2-2 O's Twins game at Target, and the Twins have been on fire.
The Twins have been on fire here on a Thursday. Happy Thursday to all.
Yes, sir.
As we get ready on C2C. 2-2 top 8. The Twins had actually opened the scoring in this game. Had a 2-0 lead, and then Warnock tied it with a homer at 2 for Minnesota. So 2-2 there as they are playing in the 8th. The Red Sox have a 2-0 lead on the Rangers. Top of the 5th inning. They're going to the bottom now at Fenway. And the Royals have a 2-0 lead over the White Sox. Couple of RBI hits for Salvi Perez in that one as they have the 2-0 lead. Doubleheader in Colorado today. And they are about to start game number 1, which will have Kyle Freeland and Casey Mize going against each other. Tigers won last night 8-6, minus 165 in the afternoon. First game, Freeland and the Rockies are plus $140, 9.5 as the ball could be flying out of Coors Field today.
I'm on Larry Mize and the Tigers. I think, what are they, the first team to 25? Or is that the Dodgers? I can't keep track of it. They're at 23. Dodgers at 25. But best in the AL, they've been incredible. They were the first to 20. They've been winning games left and right. They won last night. They're going to win today. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they sweep it.
I would not be surprised at all if they sweep it either. The Rockies did hang around last night, but eventually their pitching is just so awful that the Tigers are going to beat them up out there in Colorado. One other baseball note before I get into the Knicks stuff from last night. Man, it took the Pirates a little too long to fire that. I mean, they should have fired him, like, you could say at the end of last year, maybe at the end of the year before that. Derek Shelton walked the plank in Pittsburgh today, as he is now off the Jolly Roger. No more for Derek Shelton.
I mean, thank God. He was awful, and every year they finished 4th or 5th that he was the manager in the Central. They never did anything. All they do is lose. They never get better. I don't know if I necessarily blame him that they never get better, because I blame that owner and that front office who never gives them any players. Now, I won't deny that they've been able to draft guys like Paul Skeens. So, he'll only be there for 5 years, and you can say goodbye to him after that. Like every other star player that's ever played in Pittsburgh, they're the first one out the door when they get the chance via free agency, or they trade them because they're not going to pay them. They don't pay anybody. So Shelton's the fall guy. This guy, Don Kelly, the only thing I know about him is that I remember he played for Jim Leland. So he was one of Leland's boys. And then he was, bounced around, from it. He debuted in the majors with the Pirates. And I think he played, bounced around, like I said. And then he was I think he was the third base coach of the Astros for a while. And then he was a bench coach with the Pirates for the last couple of years. And now he's the new manager. They named him immediately the interim. So he's in charge now. I will say this much for the guy. He's a native of Pittsburgh. He's a Pittsburgher, and he's a lifelong Pirate fan his whole life. So he's like true blue, black and gold, no questions asked. So, we'll give him a shot. It's hard to work when you got a payroll of $80 million.
It's very hard to work when you have that kind of payroll. And I didn't realize, 45 years old, a young guy for the managing game. So Don Kelly from Butler, PA.
The new Pope is young. Your boy Leo.
New Pope?
He's 69.
How about the first American Pope, and he went to Villanova.
Cubs fan. A Nova cat.
To Villanova. That's why I've seen it all. I know this is not a new joke for the last few hours on social media. Now we know why the Knicks are doing so well. All those Villanova guys. The new Pope is from Villanova.
It's
and
obvious.
The Knicks all have the guys all from Villanova. Obviously, it's all tying together. Can you believe 20 points?
I wonder if he'll give Jay
night?
Wright a job at the Vatican. I mean, get them all involved. Steve Lapis.
What a melt.
My boy
games
Joe
in a
Jack.
row. Joe Jack. There you
I
go.
always
Celtics
love
melted
when
again.
I always love when the Pope comes out and he waves, and then he went like this for about 5 minutes, and then he went like this, and then he went with one hand, and then he went with the other hand, and then he speaks Italian, Spanish. He lived in Peru forever. He's a Peruvian citizen, and he's from the south side of Chicago, which is rare to have a Cubs fan from the south side of Chicago that didn't get his ass beat when he was a kid. But I guess Francis loved him. And when you're Leo in the church, you're, all about social change and the homeless and the hungry and the, jobless and the starving and the people that suffer, a lot like Francis was. All the Leos were social change popes. So your boy, Provost from Chicago, the new Pope, Pope Leo the 14th, Carver High, styling.
Unbelievable. And as we were saying, the Celtics melted again last night. Unbelievable how the Knicks get it done. Another melt by Boston.
I'll touch myself.
There it is. That's it.
Well, I did touch myself last night after the Knicks did it again. A 20-point comeback for the second game in a row. And this one was much later. The comeback was much later than Monday night's comeback. This is another fourth quarter explosion. Bridges 14 in the fourth quarter, all of his points in the fourth quarter. Another amazing stop. The one thing I noticed about when Anunoby and Bridges pinned him in the corner, in essence, on the baseline, when he tried to drive and was forced to his left, he went up to shoot, and they just both went up higher. Bridges was all over him. I mean, he was a foot higher than Tatum's hand with the ball in it, and he just stuffed his ass. The Knicks were incredible. Let's face facts. The dirty dog, Josh Hart, and I thought the big bodega played great. And what I saw, and I hope everyone hears me loud and clear, the entire night, literally nonstop, the Celtics cry about every single whistle. Every single call is wrong. Every call is bad. And the Knicks just basically look at the refs and give them the look like you suck and your calls suck. But they never got teched up and never got in trouble and never sat there and argued with him. They just looked at him like, are you kidding me? The white foul on Brunson on the three where Brunson landed on his foot and rolled his foot, that was a foul. And instead, they let him go down, shoot a layup, and call it a weak ass and one on a touch by Hart. That's how bad those refs were last night. But they were bad toward the Knicks, and they still won the effing game. Screw Boston.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Cosmo was supposed to fight Ciaran Clark, but he had to pull off injury. You get the call. You get to go in there. What was it like for you when you got that call, jumping in there and be part of this bantamweight tournament on short notice?
Terrifying, man. 2 weeks notice against a stud, but I've been preparing my whole life for it, and I couldn't say no to the opportunity, and saw what happened. I came in there and kind of shocked the world. Not kind of, I did.
Only on SportsGrid.
Malaysia Fawali, who you guys know I am a huge fan, has decided to switch allegiances and stay in league. And now she's going to go play for Kim Mulkey. Her, Flau'jae Johnson in the backcourt. It's going to be interesting to watch. You wonder sometimes with roster construction, maybe too much is not too good.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
We know your other brother Marv did the Knicks forever, but you've done just about every team in the league. You did Ames. Yeah. You did Dr. J games.
But after 45 years in this crazy business, people kept telling me, you got to write a book. So I did, and here it is.
Ferrall, Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all. Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What?
How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
You can catch Sports Rage weeknights at 10 on all of our TV and radio outlets. We get Morency for a double shot every day from Vancouver. Gabe, what did you think of the Knicks and Thunder last night?
Unbelievable. First time in 25 years, Scott, that teams have come back from 20 or down in back-to-back games. That's how rare it is what the New York Knicks accomplished. Bridges, the first player in NBA history, with 2 stops in the last 6 seconds of playoff games. There's a lot of first-time ever things going on right now, and the Knicks are in a great spot. They really are. I mean, I know a lot of people think Boston can flick the switch, but I'm not sure the switch is there to be flipped anymore, Scott, with this team. They're not the same team as last year. I'd be surprised if they won both games in New York. I mean, Game 3 is going to be pivotal, obviously, but all the Knicks have to do is nail down one of the 2 games, and they're up 3-1, and then you just hang on for dear life, and you've got 3 cracks at getting one of them. Very similar to the Toronto Maple Leafs situation. Win 1 in Florida, you're up 3-1, hang on for dear life, and you got 3 cracks at finishing them off after. But I think the Celtics are on the brink for real, Scott. I think this team is shaking right now. They do rely on the three-point shot too much. The Knicks are in a zone, in a rhythm here. It comes down to Game 3, essentially, but I'm expecting the Knicks to at least get a split at home and be up 3-1.
So, what did you think of Hart and the Big Bodega, the way they played in that game? And I thought the refs were terrible. I thought on the Brown turnaround in the lane, Hart never touched him. I thought on the White no call on the Brunson 3 when Brunson couldn't land and rolled his foot and went down on the ground, that was a foul. You have to let him land. It's as simple as that in basketball. If you're in the way of the landing, it's a foul in 3 shots. Instead, they let him go down to the other end and get a layup, and they called the most wussy and one non-foul ever. And then I thought the entire game, and I mean it, I thought that the Celtics complained on every whistle, and I thought the Knicks did too, but differently. I said earlier on the show, they did it by giving refs looks like you suck. You really suck. And I thought that the Celtics were just crying on every single call, and they didn't lose that game because of calls. They lost that game because they suck and can't hit a shot.
Well, they hit enough shots to be up by 20, right? In two games in a row. They're just
They didn't hit a shot for 14 minutes.
They're a bad team at holding leads. They're like a football team that can't run the ball, right? Like, so they score points, they throw the ball, and it's like, all right, we got a lead, but we can't kill the clock after. And this has been a problem for them. Like in a regular season over the past, this Celtic team, this unit, they've blown a lot of double-digit leads, Scott. 18-point leads, like to the Hawks in regular season games, 22-point leads. They can't finish games off. And credit the Knicks. They just keep plugging away. They keep chipping away. Listen, the uglier it gets with the refs, it's more an advantage to the Knicks. And if I'm the Knicks, I love seeing the Celtics cry and complain to the refs, right? Because you know they're rattled right now, right? They're looking for a lifeline. They're looking for a way out here right now. And they're going to have to work their way through this. Looks like I think the Knicks are going to win the series. And I'm kicking myself for not taking them at plus 525 or plus 500, whatever, before the series started. I thought it was insane. I like the Knicks plus 2.5 games in the series, and I like the Pacers plus 2.5 games in the series, and we've already won the bet. But I didn't see this, Scott. But you can get the Knicks right now to win the series at minus 110, minus 115. It's basically a pick 'em right now, even though they have the 2-game lead. And I don't think that Boston is going to come back here. I don't like to overreact after 2 games. Stuff can happen. You know, home court doesn't really mean as much as it used to. As we know, the Knicks just won 2 games, on the road here. Boston are capable of taking 2 at MSG, but I don't think they will. I don't think they're fully, teams are capable of it. I don't know if this team is capable of it right now. If you're the Knicks,
most bettors are betting on them. Most bettors are betting on them to win the series.
The points, the point spread's gone up. Right, it opened up at 4.5. It started to go up a little bit, and the public, they believe in the automatic bounce back. Hell, look, why are the Cavaliers favored on the road, Scott? Similar situation. And it's funny because the Knicks and Celtics guys opened up at 4.5 last night. Like I was on the air immediately when the point spread came out right after the game, and it went to 5, and we were kind of discussing, me and the guest, about wow. The people are just going right back with the Celtics. The odds makers know the public's going to come in with Boston here in a must-win situation. And, Scott, I said I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if it goes up even more. And I see 5.5 right now the Knicks are getting on their home court. 5.5. And I know we'll get to hockey later, Scott, but I've been doing a lot of the correlation between the Knicks and the Maple Leafs. And I said, listen, so the Knicks are underdogs in every game in this series. I mean, they're plus 185 on the money line on their home freaking court right now, despite just winning twice. Similar situation. Last night, people just sort of assumed, the Panthers can't lose 2 in a row. They're the Florida Panthers. The Leafs are chokers. And no, they can't win. Dude, the Leafs win again. It's plus 125 home dogs. Now, bro, look at this insane line, Scott, for this game on Friday night. Florida Panthers, minus 240. Minus 240. Maple Leafs plus 195 right now. So similar to the Celtics and the Panthers, both defending champions, and the odds makers and the public betting market believes that they're both going to bounce back. I'm not so sure they do.
And what'd you think of the Thunder last night, what they did to the Nuggets and Jokic fouling out?
Well, I didn't watch too much of it. I did bet the over of the game. And I take the loss on the chin with the Denver Nuggets. I took Denver in game 1. It was dumb to be stubborn and go back to them in game 2. Listen, man, Oklahoma City, this is what they do. They either murder you by 50 or they'll lose the game outright, right? But they seem to murder you by 50 a little bit more than they lose games outright. I think Denver's got another win in them, Scott, in this series, but I do think Oklahoma City is going to get through. Cleveland are in trouble right now, but I think the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to get through. They're going to win this series. I guess, I'll say in 6 games.
When we come back, we'll talk about tonight's Dubs and T-Wolves game in the Target in Minneapolis and the 2 NHL games with Morency.
knows how to show love to our everyday heroes. So if you're a first responder, you are in for some perks. Lots of hotels and casino offer big discounts to any first responders who can show valid work or volunteer ID. So treat yourself to a discounted stay. You deserve it. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star three trio is, they can make the guys around them better, and they can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, back with Morency. Let's start with the Dubs and T-Wolves tonight. Of course, we know Curry's out a week, and the Dubs are up 1-0 on the T-Wolves. I would imagine they're going to show up a lot like the Thunder did last night, or they'll be finished.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way, doesn't it? I hate laying points. I'm a sucker for underdogs in these spots, but this just feels like it has blowout written all over it. Minnesota are a good team. Listen, Anthony Edwards is going to be better tonight. He ended up with 23, but that was a soft 23. He had like 10 points after the third quarter of play. There were late garbage points that he scored. He wasn't on his game. They were out of sync offensively. Defensively, they were lazy, which is surprising to say about the T-Wolves. So, you know, they combusted, right? It was just one of those games. They have a tendency of doing that in playoff series. They lack that full killer instinct. Sometimes I buy in that, man, this team's ready to turn the corner, right? And then they'll come out and they'll play flat like that, especially at home. We've seen them flat at home in the past, but tonight just does feel like kind of like last night. You know, you got no Steph Curry tonight. Golden State already got their job done. They got a win in their back pocket. They're going to be happy going back to the Bay, tied at 1. They'll give it the old college try in the first quarter. But if Minnesota can come out and just bludgeon them like Oklahoma City did last night, no team taps out faster, Scott, as you know, watching the NBA than Kerr, right? Steve Kerr he'll fold the tent. You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't believe in the 32-point comeback and stuff. Like, yeah. He'll be like, you know what? Yeah, why don't you just take a seat here, Jimmy and everybody, and, we got to split. So if Minnesota can take early control of this, listen, it's 10.5 for a reason. If you want to be bold and roll the dice, fine, take the Warriors, but I'm not feeling it. I think Minnesota will blow them out tonight.
All right, so Carolina's up 1. They won Game 1 in overtime at the Capital One Center in D.C. against Ovi and the Caps. Game 2 tonight, and Carolina a favorite again, heavy, -175.5.
I like the Canes in this series, Scott, but I think this is the spot that the Capitals win a game. Listen, every Capital game is close. They get outplayed a little bit. Logan Thompson saves them. They're good at bearing their chances when they get the puck, but they never really, I know they won. They scored empty net goals, but the Canadian series was super close. These games are going to be close with Carolina. I like Carolina to win this series, let's say in 5 or 6 games. But I don't think Washington's getting swept. right? I think this is the spot for the Washington Capitals. I think the Canes are overpriced tonight, Scott, at minus 170.
Edmonton getting money at Vegas, up 1-0. They beat them 4-2. They're a $1.15 on the plus side, 6.5 the total.
Edmonton have won 5 straight games, guys. And each of the 5 games that they've won, they've been losing in, either by 1 goal or multiple goals. It's unbelievable, this team. Like, if they ever get a lead and, they're just going to start killing teams, right? Like, they're going to start winning 5-2 every night, Edmonton, if they can figure out how to get a lead early and not fall behind. Vegas are going to throw the kitchen sink at Edmonton tonight. They don't want to go back to Alberta down 2-0. But with that being stated, Scott, you got to ride the hot hand, right? Sometimes you got to accept as a bettor, you might not win every bet. Going in. It's like betting the Dodgers, Scott. I bet the Dodgers daily. They're not going to win every game, but they're going to win more than they're going to lose, and a lot more than they're going to win a lot more than they're going to lose. It's same thing with the Oilers. It's like, you're at a blackjack table, or a roulette wheel, and it's red-black. It's come up red 5 times in a row. You're like, man, is it really going to be 6?
Red.
But you bet red, Scott, exactly, until the streak stops. Like, I don't want to get cute. It's like, all right, I'm going to overthink it. Like, Capitals and Canes is different. This is different. The Oilers are the hottest team in the playoffs right now. They've won 5 games in a row. Dude, you and I talk about Connor McDavid. This is unbelievable, guys. Connor McDavid has 2 or more points in 50% of his playoff games in his career. And the only player ever in the history of the NHL with a higher ratio was Wayne Gretzky at 51%. Like, Connor, and it was a hell of a lot easier to put points up on the board in Gretzky's era, people. It's true. I'll tell you that. All right. So it's amazing what this guy does. Vegas are a great team, Scott. They could win the game, but I'm taking the Oilers again tonight as dogs.
What do you think of Rantanen and his hat trick, his second one in a row?
Unbelievable. A little connection here, Scott. Only 3 players in the history of the NHL have ever done it. The last time was 85. Jari Kurri, Edmonton Oilers. Also
That's right.
Finnish player like Rantanen. Both Finns.
He's incredible. He's on his way to the Conn Smythe if they keep this up.
Wow.
They got to keep winning to, go to the conference final and Stanley Cup final, I would think. All right, Morency, have a great show tonight. Good stuff.
Vegas knows how to show love to our everyday heroes. So if you're a first responder, you are in for some perks. Lots of hotels and casino offer big discounts to any first responders who can show valid work or volunteer ID. So treat yourself to a discounted stay. You deserve it. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star 3 trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, let's go back to the Garden in Boston last night and relive that puppy.
Yeah, why don't we relive that puppy from last night? Because what a night it was. Knicks beat the Celtics 91-90. They now take a 2-0 series lead back to New York City and Madison Square Garden. Knicks are down 20 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. They would then come all the way back. Here's the final moment. So Brunson makes the free throw to put the Knicks up 1. Celtics have a chance to win it. Didn't go well. Knick defense again on TNT.
Celtics. They're going to go. They're not going to use the timeout. Plenty of time here. It's Tatum. Robinson's on him. Tatum maneuvering. Oh, the ball knocked away. Another great defensive play for the Knicks. They've got it. They've won it. New York has gone up 2-0. And defense again at the end.
I mean, it was unbelievable. I was losing my mind. It was deja vu city. I mean, Monday night, they come back from 20 down, and they stun them and win in overtime. Could have won it at the end of regulation. Brunson missed the kiss off the glass. They win it anyway. And Bridges made the last stop, the steal on Brown. Then I'm sitting here last night. They're getting their ass beat, and the refs are just giving them every call. And meanwhile, they're complaining to the refs about every whistle, the Celtics. Next thing you know, the Celtics couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And the Knicks started pouring in buckets from 3 and everywhere else. You name it, they hit it. And then they win this game. I was freaking out. I mean, I was losing my mind. I couldn't even sit down. I was just standing up and screaming and yelling and going crazy. And I cannot believe, and honestly, never once in 30 years have I seen 2 better games by the Knicks. That they came back and won both those games are the 2 best games I ever saw in my life as a Knicks fan.
They really, you could absolutely say that. And I didn't think the Celtics could have a worse melt than they did in game 1, and yet they did. I mean, it was worse in every stretch. I mean, what'd they go? 7.5, 8 minutes without a bucket down the stretch there in the fourth quarter? I mean, they just couldn't
Over 13 minutes.
13 minutes through that stretch. Just absolutely amazing. Brunson, of course, didn't have a big Brunson night. You know, didn't score 30, 40 points, but he did have a couple of big buckets down the stretch. Bridges scored all 14 of his in the fourth quarter as well, and he made that game-ending play on defense. Here's Brunson on himself and the Knicks getting it done in crunch time.
It's a focus that I need to have at that moment. You can't really worry about what happened previously in the game. It's all about just focusing, having a clear mind, and just trying to win the game. That's just my mindset, and I wouldn't be that way without my teammates.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know anything. They all played well. I mean, we've already gone down the litany of guys that showed up and produced. Hart was his usual self on another level. I thought Cat was, a monster. And I got to give credit to Mitchell Robinson, who I think is the worst free throw shooter I've ever seen in my life. But, people making fun of his air balls and everything else. But, man, that guy, 6 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals. He was diving on loose balls at midcourt, 50-50 balls, then winning the jump ball. I thought he was playing out of his mind, and he was altering shots, big rebounds. He contributed in a massive way to that win last night. And, when he's out there, they foul him and put him on the line, and it's so crazy. He's going to miss, but they stay behind him. I mean, Thibodeau stands behind him. They leave him out there. They took him out at the right time last night to get Anunoby back in that game at the end so that he wouldn't be anywhere near that foul line. And I thought Brunson knocking down the 2 big free throws was key. I mean, those are tough free throws in that building on the road with 12 seconds left to knock them both down. And he rattled the first one in. That was super clutch.
It certainly was. Let's hear from Tom Thibodeau next, Scotty. Of course, very proud of
So
his
proud.
team. So
Well, always have the belief, I think, in each other. You know, I think you get to the playoffs, it's about really your mental toughness, your defense, and your teamwork, and always having the belief that you could do something better and you could find a way to win, right? So it's a long game, keep playing, and that's what they did.
Yeah, listen, the other game I remember that they melted down was the Cleveland game when they lost a 25-point lead at the Garden in Boston and the Cavs came back and beat them. And I think that's what gave the Cavs the belief that they could, win the East, beat the Celtics, go to the final, be the top team in the East, get home court, the whole deal. And then now I've seen the Knicks do them twice, backdoor, twice in the second half, down 20. They were down 20 last night. Again, late. I mean, that was a fourth quarter comeback. And have you ever seen a guy before have no points in the game and then have 14 in the fourth quarter like Bridges did? I mean, this guy, he's already paid off for all those number one draft picks in spades. In the last 2 nights, he was worth all those draft picks.
look, it's a similar thing like I said to you for game one. You might look at the box score to this game 5-10 years from now. You go back and you look at the box score, Bridges, he had 14 points. He made the biggest plays in the game. Like, that's why sometimes just the numbers don't describe what actually happens out there. Bridges was awesome. Second game in a row, awesome in the fourth quarter on both ends of the floor, and he carried them there. And you said it. Every guy that the Knicks put in that game last night, they had a little piece of them erasing that 20-point deficit.
Even McBride.
This was not even McBride. This was not Brunson took over, went berserk, scored 25. Everybody had to chip in for them to beat that team. And what a shame that the Celtics are now down 0-2, going back to New York City.
I feel so awful for him. I mean, the only way I got through it was the new Pope today. I mean, that's the only way I was able to cut through the pain.
I know. Let's hear from Jolton Joe Mazzulla here. What happened in the last 5 minutes of that game, Joe?
What happened there in the last 5 mininto? It just seemed like you guys couldn't score, and they just made every play.
They made every play, and like I said, even throughout the end of that third and fourth quarter, I thought we generated some good looks, and then I thought we had some live ball turnovers, and they took advantage of it. So they made the necessary plays to win. We put ourselves in position to do that, and we just didn't make the plays.
Yeah, he's got it all figured out in these post-game press conferences. When they lose, he just admits that they blew it, admits they made mistakes, admits they have turnovers, admits they don't hit shots, and then says, we had good looks, we just didn't hit them. And he makes it real short and sweet and takes the fall on the sword and doesn't blame anybody. He just we got beat, we blew it, we had it, should have had it, didn't get it done.
And that drives them nuts up there because they want they want the contract, they want the problem. And Joe's just like, no, it's just that simple. Like, you're not going to get me in that. We didn't get it done. That's it. That's all I can say to you. It doesn't go any deeper than that. Tatum, in the first 2 games, he averaged 18 points, shot 29% from the floor, 25% from 3. He had 6 total fourth quarter points between the 2 games. And that is, once again, Bridges and Anunoby. That's why Tatum's numbers look like that in the fourth quarter over those first 2 games.
I thought Tatum was awful. I thought Horford was awful. And then I think, bottom line is Porzingis, he's just not involved. Whatever he's got going on, I have no clue what his hante is, but I'm glad he's got it.
Vegas knows how to show love to our everyday heroes. So if you're a first responder, you are in for some perks. Lots of hotels and casino offer big discounts to any first responders who can show valid work or volunteer ID. So treat yourself to a discounted stay. You deserve it. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star three trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Weren't you all over Morikawa in this thing at Philly?
I am not on Morikawa. The Prime Minister was on Morikawa. Cam has Morikawa this week.
All right.
He is 6 under T2 through 12. Dangerous Denny McCarthy is at 8 under, and he's in the lead. He's playing his last hole of the day. There's a lot of guys at 6 under. JoJo Highsmith, JT the Postman always rings twice. Aaron, get me a ginger and rye. Sam, don't call me Ben Stevens. Ricky Fowler, Colin Morikawa. You've got Cantlay, who I have at 5 under. You got a bunch of guys. Conditions are fairly easy at this place. With how wet it's been pretty soft. And
who'd you have? Matsuyama was the guy that you went after?
Yes, I have Cantlay, Matsuyama, Wyndham Clark, Fitzpatrick, and there's another one in there. I got so many tickets. It's hard to keep track of them all.
6 under, unbelievable.
Yeah, Sam, don't call me Scott Stevens or Ben Stevens, sitting at 6 under right now for them. So he's in the clubhouse already, leader in the clubhouse. Ricky's playing well though. I'd like to see Ricky play well this week. He needs it. He's gonna run out. He's getting all these sponsor exemptions to play in these big events. He needs to actually perform well in some of them in order to get himself into some of these bigger tournaments. All right, let's finish up the Knicks and the Celtics here, and we'll go to the zinger because I do have to say, who knows what his mystery illness is. I guess one way I'll put it is he's lucky that they won last year, because if this was in New York, he'd be getting absolutely smashed for how he's playing and how he's not playing. He says now that they're down 2-0. There's no pressure on them now. It's all on the Knicks. He believes that. Here's the zinger.
In a way, it kind of takes all the pressure off of us, no? Now it's...
Not really.
I don't know. If you check the odds, maybe the Knicks are the favorites now to win. Who knows? We were expected to win. So for us to be in this hole right now, with our backs against the wall, we have nothing to lose. So we got to go out there and leave it all out on the floor. And again, I think it's a lot of basketball left to play, and let's see where this goes.
They're the champs. They have their title to lose. And they're getting beat 2-0. They lost both home games. I don't believe a word he just said. And he did nothing in game 1. And he, has this illness. And he did nothing last night.
The Celtics as a team, they shot 100 threes between the first two games. They shot 60 in the first game. They shot 40 in the second game. They only made 25 of the 100. 25
What a
100
shame.
from three. And that, look, that tells a very large part of the story that they just are not hitting anything right now. Now, to what he said about the teams that are trailing, this has happened 28 times in NBA playoff history. Team loses the first two games at home in a playoff series. Only 4 out of those 28 times has a team come back to win the series. And they never win it unless they take both games on the road in 3 and 4. All the teams that have split have eventually lost the series. So they need to win both 3 and 4 in order to, not buck this trend of what it is. 4 and 24.
Yeah, I think the Knicks need to go out on Saturday and beat them. At home, the place is going to be lit. Go out and play insane basketball, insane defense, and win the game. You go up 3, it's good night, Irene.
Good night, Irene, indeed. The cheapest ticket for that game on Saturday, $734. I actually saw it even this afternoon bumped up. It crossed $800, I think, for the cheapest ticket, with the average ticket just a shade south of $1,000, $989. Did you see all the Knicks fans who were in the TD Garden last night that were going nuts afterwards? And that one security, I guess she was an usher. She wasn't a security guard. She was an usher, I would have to. And she couldn't take it.
Night.
She was having a tough go with some of those crazy Knicks fans, and she was called security over to eliminate them from the situation.
I love the guy that was giving her the business. Like,
waving
he
the
gave
flag
a
in his
rat's
face.
ass that he was going to get thrown out after the game was already over, and he
Right.
drove up to Boston for the game, and he watched the Knicks win and come back from 20 down, and she wanted him thrown out of the arena after they'd already won. And he was just laughing in her face and giving her the business. It was even better when she fell down. She lost her balance and fell backwards and crashed into like 2 rows of seats.
And blamed it on him. Said that basically was trying to say like he pushed her. Meanwhile,
No, he
she just
didn't.
slipped. She slipped.
No one touched
She slipped.
her.
I mean,
She just fell
nobody
backwards
touched
because she was a loser. She was a complete, had no balance, was fat and ugly and a loser, and she went down, and it was terrific. I loved every minute of it. I sent you the video. I wanted you to air it because that's how mean I am.
There's a lot of cross language in that video, and there's just a lot of things that we're going. We can't watch the lady get it.
Did you see the Knicks fans out in the streets getting in fistfights with Boston fans? It was great.
They had the spirit of the team last night. Now, I know Zinger thought that they would be underdogs. Now, that's really not true. The Celtics are still a very slight favorite to win the series. Well, how about that? Now, I have -110 there for the Knicks, -106. I'm looking at one book now, -112 for the Celtics. It's about even with the Knicks up 2-0 right now in this series. But I think you mentioned this with Gabe before. Knicks getting 5.5 at home on Saturday for Game 3. Getting 5.5.
Well, I've hit both games, right, at 10.5, whatever it was, and then I hit the Thunder last night as well, laying a big number. I'm gonna just keep taking it with the Knicks. I'll take the 5.5. I told you I'll never bet on the Celtics. I don't care who they're playing, when they're playing, what the number is. I hate them dead, and I hope they lose Saturday too. Like if they lose Saturday. They're finished. Finished.
Get them out. What a shame that would be to lose the Celtics so early
the
in
best
the second
year
round.
of my life as a Knicks fan would be eliminating them.
We'll talk about the Thunder beatdown of the Nuggets last night. Smash City.
knows how to show love to our everyday heroes. So if you're a first responder, you are in for some perks. Lots of hotels and casino offer big discounts to any first responders who can show valid work or volunteer ID. So treat yourself to a discounted stay. You deserve it. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The early line. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Ricky with another birdie as he goes to 7 under. Look at your boy in the second with a little 8-footer, a streamliner right into the cup. So the Thunder last night, I watched because I was so lit from the Knicks win. I had to watch the Thunder to see how they would fare. And boy, did they put a number on the Nuggets.
They certainly did. I was going for it. Even last night on the radio show, I was like, I played the alt to 19.5. I said I thought they were just gonna smash them, and they did. 149 to 106. Series now tied 1 game apiece. Thunder really did it in the first half. I mean, it was over. They scored 87 points.
What did that pay? The 19.
It was plus 275, so plus 280, somewhere in that area, right around there. We had that at. The Thunder did most of their damage in the first half. 87 points.
Whoa.
Well on their way to a victory on TNT.
Lou Dort. Slam down! Wiggins on the rack attack! It's 23-11 in this first half. Quite a different story from game 1. That's not working either. Jokic tried to hit Westbrook. Upstairs, slam down! Jalen Williams climbs the imaginary ladder.
So they had 2 guys, Isaiah Joe and Wiggins, off of the bench. They both had double figures. Every starter had double figures. Well, of course they did. When you put up 149, everybody eats.
Everybody eats. Plus 270, by the way. I went back and just checked.
That's
the tape
nice.
From last night. Plus
Very
270
nice.
for the
Very
19.5 with the Thunder. SGA
Triumph.
had 34 points, 4 boards, 8 dimes. He was a plus 51. That is the best plus minus in NBA playoff history, what SGA accomplished there. Here he is talking about
pluses. How about this?
They were all
Holmgren 34, Hardenstein 19, Williams 23, and Dort 34. They were all plus city.
They certainly were. Here's SGA on the biggest difference between games 1 and games 2.
I don't think we got punked at all. We pretty much had control of the whole game last game. Just didn't execute down the stretch. But just as a group, X's and O's, intangibles, game plan, we clearly threw the first punch tonight, the first hit. And that's why we got to the start we did. It's just about trying to trying to replicate that and adjust as they adjust and be a better team come game 3.
I mean,
look, I think without a doubt that Denver's going to look differently in the Ball Arena in Denver. I mean, I do. I think they're going to show up for certain. And I don't think Jokic is fouling out of a game in Denver. They just called everything on him last night and fouled his ass out. Once he was gone, they were finished. He didn't have a good game anyways.
I thought that I happened to be watching it the third quarter, the part where he got fouled out. When he got the fifth, which was kind of a touchy call. That was the one, remember, where he went over the guy's back underneath the basket? Yeah. He got the fifth there, and there was about 4 minutes left in the third quarter. I think that he decided, I'm taking the rest of the night off, because like a minute later, he just went and smashed someone on the screen. I think he was trying to just end the night. Yeah. I think he was done at that point. He didn't want to do it anymore. Here he is afterwards. We just didn't show up.
Oh yeah, we didn't. Basically, it was one team playing tonight. Even the turnovers, misses, they were aggressive. They were going by us. They were rebounding the ball. They were just better. They were much better than us today, and that's the score. That's why the score is so bad.
Duh. I mean, it was an awful game. It was awful. You can't. At halftime, I called it a day. I couldn't take any more of it. It was so bad. And I turned on the hockey. And look, they have to play differently in Denver. That's just all there is to it. If they play even remotely the same, they're going to get annihilated again. I mean, that team, I think they play better defense than anybody in the league. And I think that they clearly play better defense than the Nuggets. And if the Nuggets get taken out and can't shoot, and they got guys in their face all night and they can't shoot, they're going to have problems.
They certainly are. That game 3 is tomorrow night. 4.5 the Nuggets are getting at home tomorrow night in that game 3. So another road favorite there with the Thunder.
My guess is they're going to throw another punch at the Thunder and show up, because they didn't show up to play last night. I guarantee they'll show up to play tomorrow night. Think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers could be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Is so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum, and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.